Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to Blue River Lounge Podcast.
Welcome back to the lounge.
We are, I am always goofing with audio, so it may be a little bit different, but that's okay. We'll make it better later.
Yeah, you can always fix it in post.
Yeah. We have a special show for you today.
Yeah, a little something different.
Yeah, we only did half the work, so hopefully you like it.
Yeah, and it was a first.
A very first. Tell them what happened, Dave. This is all your goddamn idea.
My idea. I was just messing around on the web and found a podcast called the Paranatural Podcast.
That is correct.
Yes, and I reached out to those guys and asked if they want to do a crossover.
Yeah, Jake was one of them.
And Ben. Yes.
Jake and Ben. They're some pretty cool guys. I like talking to them.
Yeah, we definitely will have to do this again.
Yeah, and I've listened to a couple of their episodes, and they are a little different than us, but they seem to have a lot of fun, and that's what I like.
Yeah, that's what we're here to do. Have some fun.
Yeah, have a little bit of fucking fun, Dave.
Speaking of which, I got a drink.
Oh, what do you got there?
Well, I tried to find Killian's, and I stopped at 3 different gas stations.
Yeah, I've never had Killian's before.
And they didn't have it.
Killian's, maybe not a gas station drink. That's maybe a Hy-Vee run.
It might be, yeah. I'll have to look at Hy-Vee. I'm sure Hy-Vee probably has it. But I got this Monaco.
I like it because it's got a big fat cock on it.
No comment.
Here comes a podcat.
But this is a Watermelon Crush, and it's a premium mixed drink made with tequila.
Oh boy, Dave, you're trying to put me on. You're trying to get my pants off.
No, it's because of the paying homage to the Paranatural Podcast.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Benny couldn't drink liquor or couldn't drink beer.
Yeah, so he drinks tequila.
Interesting how many words I use to say beer that doesn't actually mean beer.
Right. Yeah, because we were talking beforehand, and Jake was saying he likes the Killian's, and Ben was saying that he's allergic to alcohol, but he does like the tequila.
Excellent. Tequila's good in mixed drinks for me. Not a huge fan straight.
Straight up. Tequila supposedly is the only liquor that is a stimulant.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's why the girls love it.
Yeah.
That's why I always hear talking about doing tequila shots.
Girls. Well, there's that whole... That was good.
That's good. I don't taste a lot of watermelon, but fruit for sure. Super fruity.
Yeah. And it's not I was worried it'd be like one of those seltzers.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of those.
Yeah, this is almost more like just a mixed drink.
Yeah, I think it's just a straight up mixed drink.
Yeah, I like it.
It is good.
I drink a couple of these in the old hot tub.
There you go. Fruity enough for the hot tub?
Yeah. Must be this fruity for the hot tub.
Yes.
Or a PBR.
PBR.
An ice temperature, and any temperature PBR.
I don't think they would be good warm.
You'd be surprised, Dave.
I would be. I don't think I've ever had a PBR except that hard coffee we did that one time.
You've never had a Pabst Blue Ribbon?
Like a straight up? No.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. So Ben and Jake are in different states, so they always record on Zoom, which I'm pretty impressed with their setup. It sounds really good for being over Zoom.
Good sound quality.
Yeah, I think a lot of people's problems is they do it over like a laptop microphone.
Oh, just use straight up.
Yeah, it's just like a
factory settings.
Yeah, and what it is like the microphone on a laptop will just catch everything, whereas a lot of recording microphones are generally directional.
Oh.
Yeah.
Instead of omnidirectional?
Sure, I don't know all the terms.
Oh, okay.
Although the ones we use are generally loud enough, or they're sensitive souls enough to pick up like podcasts and refrigerators.
Yeah,
so try to turn those off.
And pod mother-in-laws.
So the pod-in-laws.
The pod-in-laws.
Yeah, these pick up just about everything. But that's okay.
Yeah.
It's very homegrown.
Right.
DIY. Grassroots, I like that one.
Yeah, DIY.
So, what have you been up to before we get into the pod? You been out and about at all?
Oh, I had someone give me a recommendation to go to Boozy's.
Oh, okay. Who is that smart, handsome fellow?
You.
Oh, right. I forgot.
Yeah, and I think I was there once before, maybe like years ago, like early 2000s, and It's still very much the same. But I don't think I ate there when I was there before. I was just like with a group of friends and we were like bar hopping.
Yeah, what'd you get, Dave?
I got the boozy burger.
Oh, dude. I suggested it.
Yeah,
was it good?
It was fucking delicious.
Dude, it's so... I can't put the thing down.
Yeah, I mean, I did cut it in half just because there's a lot.
It's a sloppy burger. The boozy burger is a boozy burger because of, like, the sauce.
Yeah, like the boozy sauce.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I ate mine right away. The old lady got wings.
Okay. And I think I've had them before. They have a special some days. But how were they?
They were good. They're passable. I mean...
You're getting frozen wings that you're getting cooked at a bar. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, on, like, 25-cent wing day, I could totally see going there and dropping a $5 bill. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that place. And I like the small time, like, tavern-y.
Yeah, and it's definitely like a hole in the wall.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I got a couple whiskey sours and a boozy bomb.
Yeah, nice.
It was good.
Was that some sort of like fruity red drink or something?
To me, it tasted like Pledge, like lemon Pledge. Because I was like, oh, that's not so good. And the bartender walked by, he's like, tastes just like summer, doesn't it? I'm like, yep.
This podcast is sponsored by Boozies.
Right.
I don't think I've done much of anything. I've been hanging out at home, just changed up the podcast setup to make it more of a stage so I could just keep it up all the time.
Yeah, kind of out of the way down here.
Yeah, and hopefully maybe do a video or something every once in a while. I think I finally got a lead on some programs to get the 1 year up.
Oh, okay.
I'm not 100% sure if the stickers are up yet. It's not so nice out, Dave.
I know.
That's my excuse.
No, it's fine. I know it's nice out. You'd rather just spend your downtime doing downtime stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We get you an episode every other week, and that's what we plan.
Yeah, and it seems to be a good schedule.
Yeah. I like spending the time with you, Dave. I was thinking about that earlier today, and it's just like to have scheduled time with a
friend.
Decent friend.
Decent friend.
Yeah, most of my friends are indecent.
Oh.
So to have one on the opposite side of the fence
All
is
right.
great.
It's not like I come down here and take my shirt off like, woo, let's do this podcast.
Yeah. Dave is always wearing a t-shirt. Sometimes he Winnie the Poohs it, though.
What? Oh, like it's too small.
No.
Oh, no pants.
No pants. Shirt, no pants.
That was our secret.
No, always fully clothed.
Yes.
For the listeners, of course.
Always.
But yeah, just trying to professional it up a little bit.
All right. I think we're doing good.
Yeah. And into the podcast with...
Paranatural Podcast with Ben and Jake.
And now into the podcast. Yeah, so I really enjoyed the history of the area. But I guess probably start right off with the description of the area where it's out of Bridgewater Triangle.
Yeah, that's pretty much where my stuff started too. So,
Massachusetts, what is it? 200 square miles in the center of Massachusetts, between the three towns of Abington, Freetown, and
Rehoboth.
Which is not how that is spelled.
No.
Come on, Massachusetts, get your shit together.
Right.
I like Freetown, just straight to the point. So in the 1970s is where I saw it started taking off.
Oh, the cryptozoologist, Laura and Coleman?
Yep, that was the guy. He named it.
Yeah. Oh, he named it?
Yeah, he came up with the name. He started doing investigations down there.
Okay.
And the guy is a prolific investigator. If you haven't looked into much of his stuff, you should.
Yeah.
He is absolutely prolific.
Is he a guy that you've followed before, like maybe even outside of Bridgewater?
Oh, absolutely. I was that close to visiting his cryptozoology museum in Portland, Maine.
Oh, really?
It was closed when I passed through.
Oh, damn.
And that was years ago. But he's a very prolific cryptozoologist. And
just
he
like
started
the stuff he's found, or what do you mean by prolific on that?
Just the reports that he's taken and the places he's gone and investigated and the books that he's written. He's done all kinds of stuff.
Okay, really helped out the community on
Big
that
time.
kind of stuff.
He's like one of the OG, at least as far as nowadays go, one that's still around.
Okay.
And he started researching all of these sightings and recording and documenting all these witness accounts from that area and pinpointing them on a map. And realized that it all existed in that kind of triangle-shaped area.
Yeah.
Yep.
The triangle, the devil's shape, obviously. everything bad ends up being a triangle.
It does. Bermuda, Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Right.
I had heard a different one, the Bennington Triangle in Vermont.
That's another one. Yep,
Oh, yeah.
There's another one.
There's another one, Lake Michigan,
Yep, the Lake Michigan
Oh.
Triangle.
Wisconsin,
Mm-hmm.
Holland.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like Holland, Ludington, and Milwaukee, I think.
yeah, I believe
Yeah, I
so.
think you take a look at a pentagram and it's got quite a few triangles in there, right? Or maybe not. Maybe it's
Get
got a bunch
into
of
it, Ben. Get into it.
quadra- Oh no! Unleash the beast on it.
It's just geometry is spooky in itself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
just-
kidding.
And hard, if you're,
Right.
you
Took me 3 years.
know.
So it's proofs, I'm telling you. No, the Edmund Fitzgerald went missing or sunk in the Michigan Triangle, right?
No, I think that was Lake Superior, bud.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've only heard the
That's all right.
song.
I've only heard
I
this
wouldn't have
song.
known any better.
hey, Ben, shush. They would have believed me.
Well, edit that one out. So it sounded like the majority of what was taking place in the Bridgewater Triangle. I heard a lot about the Hockomock Swamp, and then the Falls River Forest was like
Those are
80% of where.
Yeah, it seems like that's the two most active areas.
Right. It seems like they have every kind of anything that you want there.
Oh, yeah, you could play paranormal bingo with that place.
Oh, that would be cool.
Like I got like a small list here: UFOs, Sasquatches, ghosts, giant snakes, which should not exist in Massachusetts.
Right.
Yeah, they got just puckwudgies. They got everything going on up there.
Balls of fire.
Yep, fire, ghost fire too.
Yeah.
Ghost
A
fire.
lot of people report seeing these fires like off in the distance, and then when they like go to try to sneak up on it, it's just gone.
Which
Oh.
I learned from your guys' podcast. Christopher Columbus, he was seeing stuff like that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Down by the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
Well, past it, I think it was technically it was. But yeah,
Yeah.
that stuff's crazy.
Right.
It happens all over, man.
Ghost
But-
fires.
As far as history goes, did you guys see what Hockomock means?
Hockomock,
Yes.
a place where spirits dwell.
Also can be translated to evil spirits.
Oh,
And in other Algonquian languages, there are words that are closely derived from Hockomock, like Hockamako, which mean evil place, evil spirit. It's like we would use devil.
oh, really?
Yeah.
because
so-
I did see that the white settlers started calling it Devil's Swamp, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which Hockomock can roughly translate to something like devil, demon, evil, spirit. Yeah.
That's cool.
But I thought
So-
that was also one of their burial grounds or something. Like it was sacred to them, is what I heard. 'Cause 'Cause one lady I heard said there was an island somewhere in the swamp that they were actually finding like all these Native American graves.
Yeah, allegedly they found well, I guess it kind of depends. So they used the Hockomock Swamp during the war with the settlers to hide.
Yeah.
And so, there's going to be things there, but there's like, I think, was that Hockomock or Freetown? I can't remember which one. I should have wrote it down. One of them has a grave site that is like 8,000 years old.
Yeah, I had seen that.
So
And I
which
thought it
is
was within the swamp.
crazy. It
finding.
might have been.
Is that the
But-
one where they found that boulder? Because I know
Yeah, that was in that lake that is in the swamp.
okay.
The one with all the carvings on it.
Yeah, and like pictures of faces and stuff.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I had
And-
heard I had heard that a lot of different weird rocks were kind of come up in Massachusetts as general.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty interesting. I didn't look too far into it, but
I didn't either. That was just what they said in the documentary.
yeah.
Did you guys watch that?
I watched about half of it.
Okay, I watched the whole ding dang thing.
Yeah.
Did you see the rock in question?
Was it the one that was scribbled on, or?
Yeah, the one that had all the chiseled stuff on it.
Yeah.
It looked like a piece of driftwood, kind of, right?
Yeah, it did. It did kind of have that look to it, but apparently it's made of stone. But like they can't decide who carved the damn thing,
Yeah,
which is
like,
really weird.
because they were even saying like Norse or maybe even like Chinese something, like explorers from the
It was
Well, what language is it in?
That's just it. They can't really figure that out because there are some symbols on it that look Portuguese, which would have been from like the 1500s. There are some symbols on it which I recognized, being, Norse pagan myself, as being potentially runic, but it's so worn out you can't. And obviously, I was watching it on a documentary.
Yeah.
And then there's others that they can't really attribute to anything, including the tribes that lived in the area.
Yeah, I think that's why they got Chinese or something, because like the glyphs, kind of.
Maybe. My theory on the rock is that somebody carved something on it, and then just like a picnic table at the park, somebody else walked up and said, "Oh, hey, they carved on it, so I'm going to carve on it." And then somebody else comes up and says, "Oh, look at all these carvings. I'm going to carve my name on it." So I think it's an amalgamation that they're chasing their own tail, trying to figure out who did it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Do you think it was recent, or do you think it was from a long time ago?
I think it started out in ancient times.
Okay.
Maybe the natives carving glyphs on it, because they did do stuff like that. Petroglyphs are a thing.
Yeah.
And then, maybe the Norse we can't prove they were in that area, but it kind of makes sense. Maybe they chiseled like, Sven was here on the thing.
Yeah. Leif Erikson rules.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Leif Erikson sucks dick, whatever.
Right.
And then, you get other people come along and go, "Hey, look, everybody else is carving on this thing. I'll carve on it too."
I could see that. That makes sense.
That's interesting. It's not paranormal, but it's interesting.
No, yeah.
Definitely
Well, they also talked about that rock that somebody wrote a poem on.
Yeah. And they don't know who.
Yeah.
They have no idea what it means.
Well, I thought they were trying to say it was Timothy Otis Payne, I think.
I have
And
no
he
idea
was-
who that is.
He was like a Freemason. They did a lot of like granite work around there, like building bridges, like stone bridges and stuff around the area.
That would make sense. The carving on it is very pretty.
Yeah. But they say he's somehow connected to Increase Mather, who was like the son of the guy who did all the burning in Salem, the witch burnings.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's some kind of connection, but I saw like a public access show where they were talking about it, and there was a lady trying to like make it more spooky than it actually was, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a poem carved on a rock, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. A good poem for sure, though.
Apparently somebody, how did you take the poem, gentlemen? Was it like a love lost poem or because that's how I took it. I took it as a pining for some lost love type deal.
I don't remember it too well off the top of my head, but from what I remember, I mean, it was kind of like, I think you're right about the pining, but maybe not necessarily for someone.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily think you said that, but definitely a loss of like some sort of feeling within you.
Okay. All right. I can dig that interpretation.
Yeah.
Some sort of like all who wander are not lost type of thing is what I kind of took away
All
from it.
Hey, that's the beauty part of poetry. It means something different to everyone
Yeah.
who encounters it. And
Yeah.
since we don't know who carved it, we can't ask them. So they're
Yeah,
dead
right.
anyway.
Yeah, and the whole reason they found that is because of a lost canoer.
Yeah, the girl that went missing.
Yeah, and just coincidentally, they found her body by this stone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a little weird.
Yeah. But I mean, when you're finding bodies left and right, I'm bound to come across a cool stone every once in a while.
Search in the woods for somebody.
Yeah, it seems like they had bodies. Well, that was more of the swamp, but then like the Freetown Forest.
Oh, that place. So much bad stuff happened there.
Yeah. Because it seemed like it was there's a lot of satanic cults in that area.
That was what I most of what I came across with the Freetown Forest was satanic cult.
Yeah,
Yucky.
because there was an animal cemetery that they actually shut down because people were going in there and digging up the bones for different rituals.
Yep, using the skulls.
Yeah, and then there were those 3 teenagers that broke into a mausoleum and like stole the body and chopped the head off.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Guys,
some real
come
driven
on.
stuff.
but I mean, they like had it in their car, but it was too stinky, so they ended up like ditching it.
I mean, what did they think was going to happen?
Yeah, I
like,
can't imagine that car is ever going to be the same.
well, they wanted to drink out of it, get some power, drink out of a skull.
No, thank you.
Well, I think you have to if you're gonna do it, you have to read the dates on the plaque, because if it's too recent, it still has hair and like skin on it.
Well, yeah, I mean, and no matter what date it was put in the mausoleum, at least run it through the dishwasher one time, guys. God damn.
Right.
Well, and
I mean-
if it was in a mausoleum, would it necessarily lose like its skin, or would it just dry out?
That's a good point. I don't know.
It's not like bugs would be eating on it, right?
I'm sure somebody knows the answer to that question, but my search history is too fucked up already for me to look that one up.
Leave it in the comments if you know the answer.
Yeah, there you go. Let us know.
Decomposing bodies.
Both the Blue Ribbon Lounge and Paranatural Podcast have Facebook groups. Get in there and let us know if you guys know how bodies decompose, because
Yeah.
except for the deer on the side of the road, I got no idea.
Yeah, they get extra big before they start.
Yeah, but I guess that became a tourist destination, so they actually had to brick up the mausoleum to keep people from trying to react or
Yeah.
reenact what happened.
Yeah, I saw that too. That's rough when you got to do
Yeah.
stuff like that. But the oh man, what was that guy's name? He wrote the book too, Christopher something or other.
Pittman.
In that documentary, he said that and I'm kind of with this. He thinks that there's an evil force in Freetown Forest that brings all this stuff there. Like it's a symptom of it.
I think that for sure. A lot of the things I got wrapped up in were the insane asylum and the maximum security prison and stuff like that. And I couldn't find a ton about them, but just the things that I found out for that all to be condensed into one space definitely felt like it was being a black hole for a lot of evil.
No, I didn't find a whole lot about any of that. So if you want to get into that, then I want to
do the history. I want to do the history first.
Oh, all right, go back to
the
it then.
King Philip War.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah,
cool?
yeah. Go ahead.
That was some of my favorite stuff. So the King Philip War in the 1700s was a generation after the first Thanksgiving, and so King Philip was Metacomet of Pekinoken, and all these words are going to be terrible for me. But Metacomet was the sachem or chief of the Pekinoekan tribe of natives. And so he was growing up in an age where settlers had already been in the area for a while. They've already started gentrifying the natives. He actually got an education at Harvard, from what I saw. And so he also probably spoke a lot of English as well as Native American. And they say that this war was one of the most brutal wars in the American history with the natives.
Yeah, they said 5% of the population of New England got killed in that war.
Yeah, and it was a lot of the Massachusetts militia versus the Mi'kmaq and Wampanoag tribes. And so one of the last battles that the natives won was in Sudbury, Massachusetts. And I believe they have a monument there. So that would be kind of cool to see if you're ever in the area.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the last ones that the natives won. And then after that, they really started getting sick with all the diseases and stuff that the white man brought to the Americas. And so a lot of natives were giving up, and also their forces were being overrun at the same time. And so as the natives started going downhill in the battle, they finally caught and killed King Phillips, or Metacomet. They drawn and quartered his body. They decapitated him.
Is that where they rip you apart by horses?
Yes, that is where you're attached to generally 4 horses, and then the 4 horses are sent in 4 different directions. Brutal.
Yeah.
And it sounded like they had shot him before they quartered him. But I would imagine at that point, you're just trying to get some of your frustration out and show all the other natives what's going to happen when we catch you going against us.
Making a symbol out of him.
Yeah. And speaking of symbols out of him, they so who was it? John Alderman and Captain Benjamin Church were 2 of the people who led the forces when they finally did kill Metacomet. John Alderman was a praying Indian, which is to say that he changed over to the Christian faith. And so he was on the side of the English.
We call those traitors.
Yeah. And so when they killed Metacomet, he actually got one of his hands, which he would parade around to the different taverns, and the taverns would let him drink for free while everybody else got to admire the hand, which is a dang good job resource, I think. I mean, and then they decapitated Metacomet and put him on the gates of the nearest fortress, which I didn't actually look to see what fortress that was.
I've got it. Fort Plymouth.
Yeah.
Fort Plymouth. So yeah, definitely made a symbol out of him.
And I heard it was 20 years, but I also saw something that said like 200 years. So.
No, it was 20. 20 was what I saw anyway.
Okay.
His head on a pike for 20 years.
Right.
Like,
Speaking
guys.
of smelly skulls.
Yeah, right. And guys, I get a grudge, but come on, 20 years, that's a little long. Let it go. Guy's dead.
Well, I mean, at some point you just walk by and it's there, right? You kind of
you kind of ignore it, I guess. But
so once they found Metacomet, his second in command, Antawan, still sent the natives to keep fighting, and they continued to lose. The English militia did find out where they were keeping him. They kept hiring more of these praying Indians to help them because they knew the area. They were good hunters. So they finally came upon Antawan's and the rest of the Wampanoag campsite, and the English sneak in. Antawan, I believe, gave up. I think he offered them Metacomet's wampum belt. The wampum belt, from what I was told, was it like tells the history of a tribe. And even though Antawan kind of gave it over as a show of good faith, they killed him and took the belt. And that is what a lot of people may think started this whole blackened curse area. So maybe a native church or a native curse, or what are they? That's like a trope, right? Where you build something on a native Indian burial ground.
yeah, it's a very big trope. everything in the East Coast that's on it is built on a native burial ground. I'm pretty sure.
But I'm really into that kind of history, and that was just I thought an amazing story.
It really is. It really is.
But then that's whether that war is what started to put like the blight on the land, or if it was already there before, because like you were saying, it was already called Devil's Swamp, or
which that is the question, and do evil actions bring a place to evil, or is the place evil and that brings evil action? It's something you can debate for a very, very long time if you wanted to.
And not an answer is going to happen either. It's one of those things that is unanswerable.
If there were answers to these questions, we wouldn't have so much fun doing these podcasts, gentlemen.
Somebody with a bigger brain would have told us by now, right?
Absolutely. Instead of just a bunch of weirdos talking about it on the internet.
Right. I did see that it was like they have large granite deposits there, so there might be an overabundance of quartz, and that can somehow like some kind of pseudo electric charge that the quartz give off.
So you're a stone tape theory guy.
Kinda, yeah.
All right,
but
all right.
I also tried to find a map of ley lines, and it looks like there's a point right off the coast of Massachusetts, but not like on this like triangle area.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, I was looking at some of this stuff, and it's pretty obvious that like they just took those two or those three cities to make the triangle, but it's kind of like when you turn on a water faucet, the water hits everywhere and just kind of vortexes in. So like I didn't hear too much about the dog track, but I heard it brought up a few times, and that's technically outside of the triangle.
Right.
So it's kind of like a splash zone.
There's stuff that exists outside of it. A splash zone's probably a good way to put it, actually.
Yeah.
It's just where the droplets hit.
Yeah.
The dog track has a lot of the UFO stuff that's happened over it, apparently. That's most of what I was hearing from that. But
is that the one with the like home plate shaped?
That was the one. It was near the dog track, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Did you watch the documentary you said?
Yes, I did.
Where the guy actually brought a home plate and was like, it looks just like this.
Hell, yeah, I don't even. Yeah, it was just like a piece of plastic that he cut into the shape of a home plate, and he stuck a flashlight on the bottom of it. When it looked like that, like, well, I guess as far as visual representations go, it works. But
yeah.
Well, and in that, didn't they say they took a bunch of eyewitness reports and then like had a sketch artist draw it?
They did indeed. Where? Oh, I didn't.
I was
get
interested
a number
to see what that looked like.
I did not get a number for how many people supposedly saw that thing.
It was they made it sound like it was like more than 9. I want to say it was in double digits, right?
What I have is lots of people.
Lots of people.
Lots of people.
They referenced a couple of ways, like they saw a bunch of reports in the newspaper and on the radio, and then they talked about how many people they had within the sketch artist. So I mean, obviously numbers can be kind of inflated or deflated.
Right. But what I do know is these two guys that were in the documentary, they're reporters themselves.
Oh.
And public figures that were on the radio station, the local radio station. So, a little credibility point for them there.
Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of people, or they were talking about quite a few people didn't want their names within the reports.
Which is really common.
Yeah. Well, common for people who probably saw something.
Yeah.
As opposed to people who just want a little bit of cred or waste your time, I guess.
Yeah, it's that debate can go both ways too.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the hoaxers obviously are going to want their names out there, but there are also people that just don't care what other people think.
Yeah, that's true.
They're like, you know what? I saw it. Believe me, don't believe me. I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
So
what are some of your other guys' favorite stuff? Like I heard a lady in a white dress and then some sort of redheaded hitchhiker. I thought those were pretty tropic, but interesting.
The redheaded hitchhiker one made me laugh.
Yeah.
So we'll just give a background on the legend for anybody listening who doesn't want to sit through this documentary. Is apparently along a certain stretch of road in the Bridgewater Triangle area, if you're driving you may come across a red-headed lumberjack-looking hitchhiker. Now, there's different ways to encounter him. Some of it's driving. Some of it's like you shut your car off and flash the lights 3 times, and when you turn your car back on, he'll be standing in front of you. And another one is if there's 3 passengers in your vehicle, he'll just appear in the seat next to you or next to that, in the back seat, whatever. All of your hitchhiker-type tropes have been attributed to this guy.
Like all the other stories, they're saying they're putting all into this one guy.
All into this one guy.
Oh,
so
okay.
any of your hitchhiker ghost stories that you hear from around the country, and there are quite a few, all get attributed like this guy does all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, what I found interesting was that in the documentary, the area researchers that they talked to, there's a spot in the documentary where they kind of like mishmash all these guys one after the other, saying nobody has a firsthand account of this guy, this hitchhiker. Okay. It's always like my cousin's brother's uncle's nephew and stuff like that. So it's very urban legendy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those that may have, in my opinion, some sort of basis in truth. Somebody or some people may have seen something at some point, but now it's just an urban legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to break this runoff, but we have an urban legend here.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Crybaby Bridge,
mm-hmm.
where you drive up to it and then you stop the car and kids are supposed to push you across.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have anything out where you guys are at?
Jake, that's your area of expertise, bud. You do the urban legends.
Okay. So where I was from in Michigan, where I'm still from Michigan, but since I moved, we had the Dog Man. I did an episode on it, the Michigan Dog Man. There's a song about it. If you haven't heard it, you need to. It's
on
great.
YouTube, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it starts in Wexford County. Bunch of lumberjackers or lumberjacks are in the woods and they see this really big dog, but it seemed to be in a pretty playful mood. And it's going to rhyme. I know it is because I'm quoting the song right now. But they chase it and it runs inside a hollow log dog. And it apparently let out this like unearthly shriek, came up and stood upright and stood 7'4". And every 7th year, so like 1907, 1917, 1927, all that, it'll come out right around October. And I'm pretty sure I saw it. I want to call it proof, and there's a million people who would disagree with me, but I have picture proof, not of the actual thing, but of dog prints bigger than my hand, which I got big hands.
Yeah.
And Michigan, some people like to say we have wolves. Show me a wolf that gets that big, and also show me a wolf in the wild in Michigan, not in the UP. But yeah, so every like 10 years, I guess, but the 7th year of that decade, that'll come around, and some people say there's multiple. Some people say it's just an everlasting beast that can't die. As far as people being harmed by it, there's no stories on that, but like there's animals that have died of fright. There's been just mutilations of cows, deer. Apparently this thing can jump like 4 stories.
Whoa. I mean, if it's 7 foot,
7'4".
Yeah, 7 foot. Those last 4 inches are pretty important.
Got some ups.
It is. It's ripped doors off of an old church, which I actually did see that church. It's nearby Harrietta, where I grew up, a town that nobody has ever heard of. Like, it's an actual ghost town, like by title. But yeah, it's probably 2 miles from my buddy's house, and we went and checked it out. Sure as shit, the door that maybe once was there's these huge claw marks like on the frame next to it. And it's a church, so like it's pretty much like falling apart right now.
Yeah.
But so when I saw it, it was 2007, believe it or not. And I was with my friend Gage, which I've mentioned so many times in this podcast. And he's a chicken shit for this.
Gage.
Yeah. So we walk to check my live traps. I'm a trapper. And about a mile away from my house, there's just this big, probably 100 acres of pine trees and all that stuff. It's dark. It's probably 11 o'clock in October, so really dark. And we have a flashlight, a BB gun, and a knife. I'm holding the flashlight and the knife. My buddy has the BB gun. We walk out there and we keep hearing like coyotes and stuff, which is very normal. And when we got about a mile away, I hear this huge, it had to have been probably 3-inch branch snap. That was enough to get my attention.
Yeah, that's a big branch. Those things don't
Yeah.
just fall for nothing.
Right. Not windy or anything. Honestly, there was like no sound other than coyotes and then that branch.
Yeah, I mean, even if it was a storm, I mean, even if it was a dead branch, a storm's got to be rolling through to snap a 3-inch branch.
Oh yeah. So I shine the light over there, and there's some snow, so like you can see the outline of the woods, like you can see the first couple of trees.
Yeah.
With the snow on the ground, and then the flashlight, not a good flashlight. Where I shine the light after my buddy's freaking out and telling me to shine it over there, I saw what looked like a bear. It was on four legs, and it was huge, which bears aren't uncommon. But then it's probably, I want to say 10, 15 feet in front of the tree line. It stands up. It was huge.
Yeah.
I was kind of frozen in fear. And like, I don't know if you guys have ever been scared enough to where like all your senses just dim and you're focused on one thing. Like you can't hear, you can't, like nothing else is standing out except for what you're paying attention to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Well, so I look back at my friend to see his oh shit face, and he's halfway back to my house with the BB gun. So I take off running. Didn't hear anything. I was too afraid to look out of the windows all night because listen to the song. You'll understand.
Yeah, he's
Because-
a peeping Tom, right?
This mother effer grins. He smiles at you. Yeah. So we go back out there in the morning to see like if we can find anything, and that's when I found those big ass paw prints. So I take pictures of them, and I still got them at my mom's house. But yeah,
that was a good one.
Fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't know if I've ever run into anything like that.
I know bear prints. I know all the prints of animals in Michigan, and that it was dog tracks. Definitely
Just gigantic.
big ass dog tracks.
Yeah, that's crazy. That was a cool story, man.
Thank you.
And that's the one thing they don't have in Bridgewater is dogmans.
Actually,
Take that.
I just came across something that said they have enormous dogs.
Well, yeah, big dogs are not dogmans.
They could be. So
They
someone
just
gets
killed
frisky.
everybody that sees the man part.
Yeah.
Right, there you go.
Someone gets frisky with a dog, and it gets the size, it gets bigger, but the canine part is more dominant. So it looks more like a dog, but it's got some dog, or it's got some man in it.
Got a little bit of man in it.
That's a man.
And
Had a
that's how
little
it
bit of
was
man in it
created
once.
too. Yeah. Yeah. Around here, everyone likes to tell me this legend that they want me to look up. I can't find enough on it to do an episode. It's called the Bunny Man.
Oh,
yeah, and I wish my brother was in here right now because he could talk more about it. There's a movie, but it has nothing to do with the legend. So apparently years and years ago, there was a serial killer who would dress up in a bunny outfit, kill people, which that part is true. But a group of local people got together, hunted him down, killed him. Kind of like a Freddy Krueger thing. He didn't want to stay dead. So now, like, there's a certain bridge. It's always about a bridge, but there's a certain bridge where if you're alone at night and like you'll hear whistles and he'll end up coming and killing you.
oh,
Yeah. I'll look more into it, but there's not enough for an episode.
Yeah.
you'll make it work. I think that sounds good though.
So
Yeah.
you guys went to your crying bridge?
Yeah,
Or
I've
did
been
you call it
there.
again? Have you?
This Crybaby Bridge.
There you
It's
go.
like in the middle of the countryside, and it's like a bus. The legend is because it's like a kind of a blind curve on like a
Mhm.
1-lane gravel road, and then there's this metal bridge. And the story is the bus driver was going too fast and went off the bridge.
Mhm.
And for the longest time, there was a school bus in the ravine,